There's a lot of hokey multi-tools out there. You've seen them in the Walmart outdoor aisle. There's a lot of stupid designs out there that are just not good. Poor quality construction, poorly conceived, just gimmicky. However, we're going to talk about in this video some that I think they're actually very nicely executed and actually quite useful. And these are the ToolLogic SL series of survival knives. They call them survival knife. To me, a survival knife is a big old blade that I can split wood with, so I'm hesitant to use that term. This is more aptly termed maybe a multi-function knife, and these are two examples that I have. First one is the SL Lite. I think it's designated SL1, and this is an interesting design, and I had my eye on this for, I don't know, a year or so before I decided to get one and test it out. A little background on ToolLogic. They're the company that started in 1994 with a little credit card multi-knife tool, and you've seen that. It's called the Companion. They have a lot of varieties out on it now, but in there you'd have a short little blade, some tweezers, maybe a little LED light, and that was successful. And then later on and down the road they decided to expand and make this innovative and patented design, which you see here, the SL multifunction knife. Now the cool thing, there are several cool features about this knife, and let me first differentiate it apart from other dumb designs. First off, it's made well. The SL series is not hokey. It has great construction throughout, and it uses pretty good materials too. This is a polymer. The handle and the body of the knife are made of a polymer similar to that of a Glock pistol, it feels like. So it's a tough plastic that I think, and in my experience, has been very heat resistant and wear resistant. Now the steels aren't really specified of what they use. They just call it a stainless steel blade. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a super high quality steel. They'd brag about it if it was. That's always the case. If a steel is high quality and expensive, I guarantee you they're going to let you know about it. Leatherman sure does on theirs. If they have an S30V blade, they let you know about it. I would assume this is probably a 420 series stainless steel, so it's going to be a softer stainless steel, and in my experience that holds out because I have used one of these, not extensively but enough in an EDC roll to know that it doesn't hold an edge super good, but it's adequate. So on to the specifics of this. We talked about the quality of the construction. It is tight, fasteners are good, the finish on all the components is good. The blade is 3 inches long, and I like the shape of it. Believe it or not, it's kind of reminiscent of a Benchmade design. It's kind of that sheep's foot drop point design, coming up here to a sweep, and then it's met by the slanting drop point at the tip, which is a fine utility design if you ask me. And that's all this knife is a utility EDC type knife. Now they don't come in just PE, i.e. plain edge varieties. I wish they did. This one, they're all going to be serrated in the ToolLogic, and I kind of wish they weren't, because again, I'm not a big fan of these really coarse serrations. They rip rather than tear if you have just a short run of them like here. This is only about 1.25 inches wide. In order to have this serration pattern be really effective, we need it to run the whole pattern, and we'd have to run the blade like a saw. Using it like that, a coarse serration like this, and kind of like Spyderco does, it's going to be a lot more effective. However, that being said, it's not a showstopper for me, and it is, even the short serration would be good at cutting some rope. Has been for me at least. The blade shape, again, I think it's really nicely sized. It's just perfectly sized, I think, for the intended role of the knife. Here's your deployment hole, kind of an ovalized Spyderco type deployment. Speaking of which, how is it? It's fast, amazingly fast. All the ToolLogic knives I've seen come out really fast. They're not sticky at all. They only need minimal thumb tension to deploy. The lockup is tight and it's adjustable with a simple hex key on the pivot screw. And I think I did have to dink around the pivot screws a little bit and then Loctite them to get my deployment speed where I wanted it. But once it's done, it's done. And I'm real happy with the lockup. No movement at all, up, down, side to side. It's kind of a Scotch-Brite finish. It's that vertically brushed finish on the blade. just fine by me. I don't mind the Scotch-Brite or the stone wash finish. It's awesome. Let's talk about the handle. And therein lies the multi-function use of all the SL series knives. This one is the light version, and so it has an integrally mounted LED light, which is removable, powered by three 1.5 volt cells. Now, LED technology, and I'm going to do some reviews on lights in the future, LED technology is always improving. And this is not a super bright LED. It's just a very serviceable LED. And let's turn the light off here. It looks blue in the picture. Actually, it is white. It's quite serviceable. It'll give you a lot of light. And in the capacity of a multi-function knife, I don't really care if it's super bright if that gives me a lot longer battery life. And I would assume that this maybe lower powered single LED would run longer than a higher powered maybe a Luxion LED, which eats more energy but it puts out a lot more light output. Anyways, LED technology is continually advancing. This one was about 2 years ago, and it is adequate for the purpose. I don't really have any problems with it at all. ToolLogic's design is they're going to use this compartment that they've designed in the handle for a variety of uses. Again, on this one, they're putting a mini light in it, but in the other one I'll show you, they put a flint and steel in it, or actually a flint. So it's a hollow compartment in that polymer handle material. Now, if you wanted to lighten the knife up, just take that, whatever the piggyback item is, out of the SL knife, and you've just lightened your load up. And I have done that, and this is a really light knife without that. With the light attached, it's only 2.8 ounces. You take that out, it's running about 2 ounces. For a blade that's 3 inches long, that's pretty light. Now, some of y'all might be looking at this, well, it's still hokey because the total polymer knife is not going to be that strong. And that may be true. I mean, it's not the ultimate in strength, I'll give you that. However, for an EDC utility knife, we're not going to be doing a lot of prying, so I don't really need steel scales on my EDC knives. I think it's a waste. It just adds weight and cost too. So this, I love the 100% polymer handle, and it locks up just fine. The clip is good too. It's end mounted, not pivot mounted, and it's strong, it's blackened, and it's about as far back on the handle as they can put it to be effective. Now, ToolLogic also has a line of professional knives along the same lines as the SL. Let me see, what do they call it? It is a heavier knife, though. That's the downside to the new knives. And they're steel handled. They're about 4.3 ounces on, not this knife, but it's called an SL Pro knife. And also it's a pivot mounted clip. Wah, wah. Don't like that. I would prefer this series here. It's just fine. So it's got that piggyback compartment for the light. It's ergonomic. It's a comfortable handle. By the way, whatever tool fits in the upper compartment, it fits securely and does not move around at all. And it's adjustable, the pinch on that tool, with this slotted screw here. That's kind of cool. Now they also have a whistle in the back of the knife here. So I don't know if that's like super necessary, but the intent is a backup survival knife, and so it's cool by me. By the way, I think this would make a really good river knife if you're out rafting. Make sure you secure it. Here's my other version. This is an SL3. This is the fire version. A little bit heavier, about 2.9 ounces, because we're carrying more steel around, namely a nice flint. Very effective. I don't have a knife here that I'm going to scrape with because I don't want to ruin the blade. However, when I went through Air Force survival school, this is what they tell you to make fires with, not matches. You carry flint and steel because it's always reliable, always works, and I would agree with that. I have a piece of reflective Kelty cord affixed to this one so I can find it with a flashlight. Same blade, partially serrated, 3 inches of the no-name stainless. Nice lockup, fast deployment, lightweight. So that's a ToolLogic SL3 Fire. So these are non-hokey, multi-purpose knives. Good job, ToolLogic. They're continually branching out, making some innovative designs. They've got a plier / knife design out now too, which is very intriguing. So if you're looking for a multi-purpose lightweight knife, these are not hokey. They're the real deal, especially at the price point. I think I picked each of these up for about $20 a piece, maybe 25. Nice knives.